So Andy has spilled some tea about the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17 reunion, and we're going to talk about it, okay? He gives us some clues as to who is battling who's zooming who, okay? Who else was energized, who he is also loving. We got all the tea for you right now. And then we got a follow-up because y'all remember how we talked about the Brat versus Deb? Well, Deb is clapping back, and y'all, the waters are murky. So stick around for that. But first, Sky Squad, we're back in the building. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, tap that like button, and let's dive on in. Okay, so Andy, y'all know he has the radio show. And so he was recapping what has gone on the Atlanta reunion. So we're just going to play a couple of clips and then we're going to talk a little bit about it in between. So let's go.
We shot the Atlanta reunion during the break. John, it reminded me of Atlanta reunions of the past. It was Portia and I were sitting there because Angela, she just will sit there. She just doesn't stop reading people. And like, she was getting into it.
Okay, so he's saying basically that he is giggling with Portia the entire time, just like he used to do with Nene. And Angela will not stop reading people. So it seems as though Angela, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Angela as the show comes back on this coming weekend. I'm interested to see how if she pivots at all from this whole, do we call it a lie? Do we call it a scheme, a fairy tale? What do we call the situation that she has set up for herself with the George and Ashley of it all? I really don't know. But Andy is tickled pink.
With Kelly, and then
So he's basically saying Angela was arguing with Kelly.
with Shamea, and they're going back and forth and back and forth. And what I said to the group is, I go, here's the problem. Y'all just keep reading each other. There's no stop to the reading.
So it's kind of like how when Portia had to basically stop them at the table. Remember when Shamea and Angela were arguing back and forth at the table, and Portia had to finally just say like, "Yo, like we got to end this at some point because if we can just keep reading each other and then we didn't set the whole house on fire." So I can actually identify with what he's saying because I do feel like these ladies could just go on and on and on and on and on ad nauseum without stopping.
At some point, you have to end with your final best read. You have to be like, okay, this was my best and final read, and I'm going to leave it there, and now I'm going to be quiet. But they just.
So it's funny to me also too, like, is it just the black shows that read? Okay, because you never really hear him talk about this with like a Beverly Hills or do the girls read? I think the girls kind of do read a little bit on Salt Lake City. What do y'all think? Does Salt Lake City, do the girls read each other? Or is it more like the black shows? Is the reading more like you might get a bar at some point from a Beverly Hills lady? You might get a quip or a clapback of some sort or retort, if you will. But do you ever really get the read down, a shade down, if you will? Just curious.
Just keep going. But Portia and I were sitting there, giggling, listening. It was like, I just haven't giggled like that. I remember giggling with Nene when at Phaedra in years past.
Here's where things are about to get interesting. He remembers giggling with Nene back in the day. I can picture him and Portia just giggling to themselves. I really can. But now he's about to get into Phaedra. Now, this is going to be interesting because this goes back to something that I surmised about the seating chart.
Boy, Phaedra was she was energized. I will tell you that. It was.
Now, I told y'all, if you go back to that reunion seating chart, you will remember when I talked about it that day, I said, I believe that putting Phaedra down there dangling off of the end of the couch, even when Cynthia comes out, is going to, I didn't use the word energize, but I do feel like it was going to activate Phaedra because she was going to realize that by dangling on the end, they were signaling to her that you did not have a lot going on this season. And so you need to either do something to stand out or you will fade into the background like wallpaper. Okay. When you're dangling on that end of the couch, you got to come with it. That's a signal to you to bring it.
A really good reunion. It was really good. I'm really loving this group. And oh my God, Kate Michelle, just unbelievable.
He loves himself some K Michelle, man. Andy loves him some K Michelle. Mr. Andy, Mr. Andy. So, I want to give a shout out to BravoBravoBravoBri. That's where this first popped up for me. Um, Listen, I am happy to hear about it. I'm excited. I kind of was hoping that a lot more of the drama did not focus on Angela as much, but it sounds like she's back in full swing. Now, what we do know about Angela is that Angela can, yes, she can read, but the thing with Angela is going to be that we need her to stray away from false accusations or accusations that are maybe, I don't know, spontaneously created out of thin air or maybe perhaps fairy tales because it doesn't do well for her credibility. And we want to see Angela, we do want to see Angela thrive and read the girls down, but I don't want to see her veer into the realm of, I don't know, fiction. Okay. In order to do so. I always go back to this one thing that Emily Simpson from Real Housewives of Orange County said about Vicky. She said, "We don't need to talk about her looks when you can talk about her character. That's bad enough." I always think that the read turns out better when you can actually make the read about the person and not some made up action that you want to attribute to them. No, like most people, you can usually pick one thing out that is going to stand out that's actually about who they are. Okay. So that's what I would like to see moving forward. Let's get into the Brat versus Deb. This came out of nowhere for me, and I am all the way here for it. You guys educated me, something that I did not know. Y'all know I watched the first season of Deb's House, and I did recap that season. But I did not realize that a second season had came out because, WeTV, I don't know what happened with you in the screeners, but I'm going to need those screeners back in my inbox, bookings at djrichiesky.com. Please and thank you very much. I would very much appreciate it because that way I can always catch the shows in advance and then give them to the people after the air date. Okay. So let's get back to what I was saying. Deb, in an interview with Loren Larosa from The Breakfast Club and Brown Girl Grinding, actually, Deb speaks about this whole situation at length. And I would play this for you, but because of the content, similar to the way the content goes with the Andy's show, because this commentary is so lengthy, I'm just going to have to refer you to the video in and of itself. But I'm going to give you a bit of the tea. Debrat basically accused Deb of essentially taking the idea for the show that would eventually come Deb's House. Now, Debrat details this on her show, Debrat and Judy. Now, we saw this clip come out last week, and I was kind of aghast by it because I'm like, dang, Deb, did you do all that? But Deb is saying she did not do that. She denies cutting Debrat out of the boot camp style show. She says this. She says that essentially, and I'm gonna read you exactly what is stated here. Um, Deb addressed claims from Debrat, who alleged that she was cut out of their TV deal, with Deb later moving forward on her own to create what's now known as Deb's House. While Deb confirmed that the two were once developing a boot camp style reality series together, she made it clear that the network ultimately passed on their pitch. Now, again, shout out to the Jasmine Brand for this one. According to Deb, Deb's house was always her own project and differs from the boot camp style concept that they have been working on, because apparently they actually shot some stuff for the boot camp style show. For those of you guys that don't know, a great way to pitch a show to a production company or to a network is to already have a sizzle. If you have some visual a visual taste of what they can anticipate getting, then it goes a long way towards selling the show. I've done a couple of these myself in the past. None have been picked up as of yet, but listen, still I rise. Okay. Still I rise, to quote the great Stacey Orsh. Anyway, um, so Deb is claiming that the Brat was fully aware of this show and was even slated to appear as a guest judge on the show, but that appearance never materialized because she says that the Brat was focused on the Brat and Judy at the time. And she went on to then talk about how there was some drama with the Brat and Judy and their show. I mean, she's spilling some very interesting tea about the behind the scenes of their show. And she's basically like, listen, we was out here trying to make some money and we decided to conceptualize this show. And apparently the network passed on the boot camp style show. And she says that her show differs from the boot camp style show because Loren asked her, ma'am, is this not still a boot camp style show? And Deb says no, because it's not woman against woman, it's woman against themselves. And I would have to ask myself, no, it definitely gave boot camp. Okay. It definitely gave boot camp vibes. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, Deb, I love you and I love the show. And I'm going to watch season 2 some kind of way. But I got to admit that this does give boot camp. So I'm not quite sure on what you are differentiating as boot camp. But she kind of talked around it a little bit. Anyway, she goes on to reflect on how close they once were and where she believes things took a turn. And basically, where she thinks that things took a turn was back when she didn't make it to the Brat's wedding because she had the panorama. Okay, y'all remember those days. So she thinks it stems from that, although she attended other things. And then the last communication that they had, she reached out to the Brat, but the Brat never followed back up with her. Then she questions why the accusations are surfacing now. Deb says for her to say I stole a show, she's wrong. They denied that show. That show was denied years ago. So why come up now? So basically what she is saying, that she is intimating or inferring from what I gather, my opinion, is that she is saying that the Brat was maybe coerced into saying this by production. Now, what I find interesting here, though, is not only the tea that she spilled, but I like this comment right here. This comment from, and I got to listen, I'm sorry, Dr. Kimberly K, but I got to call this out because I felt like this was one of the most astute comments about this whole situation. She says, let's call it what it is. A collaborative idea was developed, then reworked and repackaged once the opportunity became valuable, excuse me. The issue isn't creativity evolving, it's the choice to move forward with a shared vision while leaving out the person who helped build the foundation. Let's be honest, it gives the impression that once the bag was on the table, the partnership no longer mattered. There seems to be a pattern of situations that leave people questioning the integrity and intentions behind your moves. Success is always better when it comes with acknowledgement, accountability, and respect for the people who helped create the path. Baby, baby, baby. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Have y'all seen Deb's house? Have you seen season 2 yet? If Deb lets us know that she's working on season 3. Okay, so the show is going on regardless. Okay. But what do you think? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you have not liked this video already, definitely like the video and be sure to tap into the links in the description of this video because like I said earlier today, that faceless content class is still up. I am not for sure how long it will be up before I move on to the next thing. So if you have not had an opportunity to grab it where it is right now, definitely do so because I do walk you through how you can do this. And I'm going to also add some more to it at some point in the future in some way, shape, or form. I have an idea. But anyway, grab it while it's hot because after a while it's going to be gone and I'm moving on. So with that being said, but I'm still going to be creating my faceless content. Trust and believe. Okay. And if you know, you know. All right. With that being said, I will catch you in the next video.